the poem of Walt Whitman. In the previous live streaming session, we saw the background to the poem Passage to India. And today we look at the poem, especially the very significance of the poem, the title, and we look at the theme of the poem. And thereafter, we will commence the reading out and discussion of the poem line by line. So we know that a passage, in fact, Passage to India. Of course, I told the title is Passage to India, but unknowingly we have, we utter it, that's wrong, it's Passage to India. So Passage to India of Walt Whitman is about another poem Whitman wrote, and that poem is Crossing Brooklyn Ferry. So it is connected to the poem Crossing Brooklyn Ferry of Whitman. And say when we look at the spiritual aspect of the poem, the very mystic aspect of the poem Passage to India, we understand that Passage to India is connected to the poem Crossing Brooklyn Ferry. At the point of departure of the poem, we see that Whitman is celebrating the rounding of the globe achieved by the three engineering marvels, like three engineering wonders. So the poem Passage to India is about the rounding of the globe. People or now mariners, navigators can go around the globe. So it is just the poem is about the engineering marvels or wonders. Number one, it is about 1869 Suez Canal, the opening of the Suez Canal, then the transoceanic cable, laying of the transoceanic cable of 1866, and the transcontinental railway of 1869. So what inspired the poet's imagination, Whitman's imagination, was that on Californian shores, man looked west, not to new lands, but back to the beginning, to the civilization, that is, of course, to the civilization's cradle, to the land of budding Bibles. So Whitman is just looking back. Along with, of course, Whitman, we just look back at the budding Bibles. Like we have, of course, the Asian countries, the very home of all the religions and holy books. So we are just looking back at the civilization's cradle to the land of budding Bibles. That's India. Land of budding Bibles is India. Religions, holy books, Vedas, Upanishads, and most of the religions of the world we have in India. And again, we are just looking at man's spiritual and physical origins in this poem. The physical and spiritual origins, right? And all the physical and spiritual origin of man is symbolized by India, Asiatic countries, right? So the theme of the poem, as we already know, is not just about the material development. It is not just about the material unification of the universe. Okay, it is not just about material achievements alone. It's about spiritual vision. Like it's about the kind of spiritual unification of the world. Okay, and like maybe a mystic poet or a religious poet, Whitman saw how the world had come to a place in history when an interlinking of lands and continents would bring the different people of the world together. Now, remember, with these three engineering marvels, like the opening of Suez Canal in Egypt, the trans-American railroad, and of course the laying of the transatlantic cable, okay, transport and communication is possible, and now humanity can be, mankind can be just unified. And Whitman is just speaking about the possibility of the unification of the world. Rather, you can say that, in short, you can just summarize the fact that Passage to India, the poem of Whitman, is about a spiritual unification of mankind. This is what is important to us. It's about the spiritual unification of mankind. And he says that this spiritual unification of mankind is possible just because of the scientific, technological, and the material advancement of the three wonders of engineering, like the opening of the Suez Canal, the laying of the Trans-American Railroad, and the laying of the transatlantic cable. So now let's just look at, we are just going to discuss the poem in detail. And before just reading out or reciting the poem, let me just tell you something extra, or rather, which is very essential. From which anthology is the poem taken? It is taken from the anthology Autumn Rivulets. Okay, so Passage to India is taken from. It's very good that you remember all these basic ideas. Okay, one of the best poems of American poetry, American literature, world literature. This is you students must know the fact that Passage to India is taken from the anthology Autumn Rivulets. Autumn Rivulets, Rivulets. That is the anthology from which the poem is taken, Passage to India. And the poet Whitman is just pleading with his soul to venture forth on a voyage. Now we have the transport facility, we have of course a short route, and we have to make a journey. Okay, the west and the east have to come together. There must be a confluence of, there must be, in fact, a unification of the West and the East. Now that the Suez Canal is open, right? Let us just go to India. And this journey, okay, the poet is speaking to his soul. The body of the poet is speaking to his soul. And the poet is invoking or requesting or pleading his soul to venture forth on the voyage. Let's go. Let's make a passage. Let us make a journey. Let's make a pilgrimage to India. Okay, so the poet Whitman requests his soul to start this journey. Okay, and it is not just a request to himself, it's a request to all the men and women in the world. It's a request to the humanity. So in fact, Whitman wants a spiritual unification or unity of mankind, and it is possible only by going to India, the home of all religions, the home of all the gods and all the holy books, right? And we understand that this poem is just moving softly from the material unification of the world, all right? Like we have the Trans-American Railroad, then of course we have the cable, laying of the cable. So the poem just begins, or rather moves from the material unification of the world achieved by the engineers to the spiritual union. That is, of course, the province of mysticism. Okay, now this is in fact a glorification or a just a praise of, the poet is praising material world, scientific, technological advancements on one side. The other side, the poet is praising spirituality, or rather you can say that the spiritual unification, right? So this spiritual unification of humanity is possible just because of the material advancements, scientific advancements, right? So this is what we have to keep in mind when we begin the discussion of the poem. Now we move to the first section of the poem. Let us just, we go for a word by word detailed discussion of this wonderful poem, Passage to India. I'll read out the first part of the poem. Listen very carefully, and I hope you have your text with you. Look at the first part of the poem. Ensure that you have a clear idea of each and every words in each and every line. Okay, I'll go for a word by word detailed discussion. This poem is, of course, for detailed discussion, detailed study. So you must have a clear idea. So I'll just recite. It's very, we know that the poem has different sections. There are altogether, nine sections, and all the sections are very, very long, so it is not easy. Yeah, it's easy, of course, to recite all the 9 sections, but I don't do that because it would be just consuming so much time. So I will just recite section by section. Now I'm reciting part 1 or section 1 of the poem, and afterwards we will just explain all the lines. Passage to India. Singing my days, singing the great achievements of the present, singing the strong light works of engineers, our modern wonders, the antique ponderous 7 outweed. In the old world, the east, the Suez Canal, the new by its mighty railroad spanned, the seas inland with eloquent gentle wires, yet first to sound, and ever sound, the cry with thee, O soul, the past, the past, the past. The past, the dark, unfathomed retrospects, the teeming gulf, the sleepers and the shadows, the past, the infinite greatness of the past. For what is the present after all but a growth out of the past? As a projectile formed, impel, passing a certain line, still keeps on. So the present, utterly formed, impelled by the past. This is the first section of the poem. Now let us understand the meaning of each and every line. So section 1, the poet sings the present. He sings about, he just praises, right? Okay, lauds the present. Okay, singing my days and singing the great achievements of the present. So what does the poet Walt Whitman speak about in the first part of the poem, the first section of the poem? He speaks about the present in the first part. He speaks about the material advancements. He speaks about the scientific advancements. He speaks about what science has contributed to the modern world. That is precisely the opening of Suez Canal, laying of the transatlantic cable, and of course the Trans-American Railroad. So he's speaking about that. Singing my days, I'm speaking about the present days, singing the great achievements of the present. I'm just singing about the great achievements of the present world, the present time, singing the strong light works of engineers. Okay, I am also singing about the great light work, strong light works of engineers. Look at that, the strong light works of engineers, right? I speak about the technological, industrial, scientific works of the engineers. And Okay, what is the result of the strong light works of engineers? What's the result of that? As a result of that, our modern wonders, okay, our modern wonders, the anti-ponderous seven outweighed. So because of material advancement, because of scientific development, now people, navigators, mariners, they could, or Amerigo, he of course, right, the reference is to what Amerigo Vespucci did, what Christopher Columbus did, what Portuguese navigator Vasco da Gama, who came to India, did. Okay, now our modern wonders, the antique ponderous seven outweighed, right? So now the antique, we know what antique is. Antique is of course, right, old. Ponderous, ponderous is heavy, very heavy. Ponderous is of course thoughtful, contemplating, pondering. All right, so here it means, ponderous means heavy. The antique ponderous seven outweighed. And seven, look at that, it is seven, S is capital, and the seven refers to the seven continents. Okay, so with the help of material advancements, with the help of scientific advancements, we could, or man could, navigators could just outweigh. What is the meaning of outweigh? Outweigh means to just to strive in competition, or to, of course, right, defeat, to conquer, to defeat. Okay, to just right. There is of course a kind of right rivalry. The seven continents. We have the seven continents, and poet says that, right, there is a kind of rivalry or a kind of competition among the seven continents, and the human beings, because of the material advancements, can or could just conquer the seven continents. Now with scientific advancements, right, with the help of steam ships, with the help of ships, with the help of boats, we could just we can travel around all the continents, seven continents. Okay, and this is the result of, this is the contribution of material advancement. This is the result of scientific industrial development. So poet is happy about that. He is just singing about the present time, singing my days, singing the great achievements of the present, singing the strong light works of engineers. Whatever, okay, the strong light works of engineers refers to all the industrial, scientific, technological advancements, including the railway, the goods train, the passenger train, the steamboat, the ships, then of course all the kind of industrial development like urbanization, okay, lot of mechanization, lot of machines, cars we have, engines we have, all that is electricity we have. Okay, so all that is being just glorified by, praised by Walt Whitman, and because of that, the antique ponderous seven outweighed. Modern man could just conquer the continents in rivalry. That is the present, and Whitman is just praising, speaking, singing about that that time. That is the present time. Singing my days, singing the great achievements of the present, singing the strong light works of engineers, our modern wonders. Okay, all this is the modern wonder. In the old world, the East, the Suez Canal. Look at that. All right. So what is one of the material advancement or scientific marvel or other engineer marvel of engineering that the poet is speaking about? He's speaking about the opening of the Suez Canal. And where do you have it? It's in the East. It's in Egypt. Okay. So in the old world, the East, the Suez Canal. Look at the East. Now, what has happened in the East? The Suez Canal has been opened. In the old world, the East, that is again, right, the reference is to, of course, the Eastern countries, the Asiatic countries, right, the Middle East again, right, you have Egypt there, and all these ancient countries or kingdoms have great religions there. Okay, references to, of course, Islam, and the very specific references to Egypt. Okay, and you know about the ancient history and civilization of Egypt. And now that the Suez Canal has been opened by the Egyptian president, it is very easy to go around the continents. It's very easy to travel from America to Asia, travel from, of course, Europe to Asia. Our modern wonders, the antique ponders, seven outweighed. In the old world, the East, the Suez Canal. The new by its mighty railroad span. And now, look at this. The poet speaks about the old world. Which is the old world? That is the Asian countries, the countries in the Middle East, the countries like India, China, all right, most of the countries in Asia, most of the countries in the Middle East, and civilizations just sprouted in all these countries, old world, millions of years ago or thousands of years ago. And which is the new world? The new world. The new world is the very world or the very country of Whitman, that is New England, that is United States of America. We know that Amerigo Vespucci just founded the country America, and the old world refers to Asia, Middle East, countries in Asia, Middle East, right? And the new world refers to United States of America. All right, and now let us continue. Remember, the old world stands for spirituality, right, and the new world stands for right, scientific advancement, technological advancement. Okay, and again, remember, you have the East and the West. East stands for spirituality, religion, and the West stands for science, material development. Okay, so this is what you have to keep in mind. And he wants a unification of the West and the East. That is right. Okay, human beings have scientific development, material. We have material development on one side. Okay, other side, there is, of course, spiritual development. But spiritual development alone is not enough in the modern world. Similarly, material development alone is not enough. There must be a confluence of both scientific development and, of course, the spiritual development. And for this, Americans and Europeans must have passage to India. They must go to India. And the poet Whitman is requesting his soul, oh my soul, let's make this pilgrimage. That is the poem. Okay, so the poet is just asking his soul, pleading his soul to venture forth on a voyage to India for spiritual nourishment and for a spiritual unity of the East and the West. Okay, a spiritual unity of mankind. Let's continue. We come to the middle. We have come to the middle of part 1, stanza 1. In the old world, the East, the Suez Canal, that is Egypt, we have the Suez Canal. It has opened, right? And that is in the year 1869. Remember the year. You have to write down the year. Okay. Now that 1869, the Suez Canal is opened by President of Egypt. It's very easy for to and fro travel between Asiatic countries and European and American countries, right? And you will understand later, okay, in after the Second World War, Egypt, when you study about, of course, you study world history, you will understand that later there was a time many years later, in the 20th century, after Second World War, Egyptian president closed the Suez Canal for some time, and of course that had a setback on European countries, and there was of course a kind of financial crisis. So Suez Canal is a very it's a channel, it's a route, it's a passage which is helping the Europeans and Americans to have maybe a shortcut to, of course, the Asian and Asiatic countries. Okay, let's just continue. In the new, by its mighty railroad spanned. What happened in the new world? New world is America, and this is about the second engineering marvel, or rather, it's of course the mighty railroad spanned. The new United States of America, we have the introduction of, rather we have the American transcontinental railroad, and with this transport is possible. Vehicles can pass, trains can pass. So in the new, by its mighty railroad spanned. Okay, United New World is America. The old world is Eastern countries, Asiatic countries. Okay, and the new United States of America, by its mighty railroad spanned. Now there is railroad in United States of America, and because of the railroad, because of train, you can encircle. People in United States of America can travel all over America, and soon it is going to spread to each and every country of Europe, and it will of course take place. There will be railroad and train service okay, in other parts of the world, so travel is easy. Okay, so in the old world, the east, the Suez Canal, the new, by its mighty railroad spanned, the seas inlaid with eloquent gentle wires. So these three lines, line number 5, 6, 7 of the first part of the poem, Passage to India, is about the marvels of engineering okay, in the present world, that is in the 19th century, that the poet Whitman speaking about. Line number 5, look at that. In the old world, the Suez Canal. Number 7, line number 6. Okay, line number 5, Suez Canal. Line number 6, the new world, by its mighty railroad spanned. There is railroad and train service in United States of America. Line number 7, the seas inlaid with eloquent gentle wires. That's about the very laying of transatlantic cable, telephonic communication. Okay, communication is easy, communication is possible among the nations of America and Europe because of the laying of the transatlantic cable. All right, so this is about the marvel. These are the three marvels of engineering, and because these are the material development, or rather these are the materialist unification of the world, right? So engineering has helped people or modern man to have a kind of material unification, and now besides this material unification, we should also have a kind of spiritual unification. Okay, now yet first to round and ever round the cry with thee, O soul, the past, the past, the past. Okay, now we have material unification, we have the railroad, we have the cable telecommunication facility, we have a very easy route, and now we can go. And now, oh my soul, yet first to sound and ever sound the cry with thee, O soul. Oh my soul, I am cry, I am the first to cry. Whitman, the poet, like a mystic, Okay, he is of course a mystic, and he wants right a spiritual unification of himself with the other brothers and sisters of the world. So he's asking himself, oh my soul. Whitman is addressing his soul now. Okay, so this is in fact, the poem is a kind of conversation, a dialogue between Walt Whitman and his soul. Okay, the body and the soul is in conversation. Oh my soul, now how can we wait any longer? We don't have to wait any longer. We can travel. Let us make a pilgrimage, because it is possible. We have train service, we have communication, we have steam ships, we have boats. All right, anything is possible. And now, first to sound, I am the first to speak about this, right? And ever sound. Okay, I will go on speaking about this. I'll be singing about it all the time. I'll go on. First to sound and ever sound, the cry with thee, O soul. My body is just invoking you. I am pleading to you, my soul. Oh, my soul, let us make passage to India. Let's go to India. Let's go to the old world. Let us go to the Asiatic countries. Yet first to sound and ever sound the cry with thee, O soul. The past, the past, the past. The past is something which is also very glorious. The present is, of course, the present. What is special about? I'm just singing about the present. I'm singing about the present. And what do I sing about? I'm singing about opening up Suez Canal. I'm singing about railroad. I'm singing about the transatlantic cable. Right? No, this is not the only thing I should just sing about. I should also sing about past. Okay. Science is not something that has just helped man. Okay, material advancement is not enough. Okay, I am singing about the present. I am singing about the new world, and of course the new times, the present. But no, this is not enough. Okay, let us sing the glories of the past. The past has also contributed tremendously to the development of man, that is the spiritual development of man. So the present has its glory, so to the past. And Whitman is just singing about the present as well as the past, maybe because his contemporary men or the modern man just praises or glorifies or speaks about the scientific and technological advancement. Maybe the modern man doesn't have, of course, anything spiritual. He says, no, life is not that alone. Okay, material advancement is not enough. All right, material unification of the world is not enough. So the past, the past, the past. So what does it mean? Okay, oh my soul, let us go to the past. The past is the old religions, old gods, old temples, Asia, the East, India. All right. So part one, stanza one. I think it's clear. Very simple. I'm just consolidating stanza one of part one. The poet is very happy about the present scientific and technological advancement, material development of man. And when the poet is just looking at all the possibilities that has just been brought by scientific and technological advancements, he understands the fact that, yeah, a unification of the world is today possible because of the opening of Suez Canal, because of train service, because of the transatlantic cable. And yeah, the present has a lot of glory. But now he again looks at the past and he says that no, the past has also its own glory. And the glory of the past is in the Asiatic country. the glory of the past is in the Indian subcontinent. Okay, and the old world, Asia, India is famous for religions, spirituality, gods, holy books. So let us make a journey to the old world Asiatic countries, and let us have a unification of man, a spiritual unity of man. Now we move to the second stanza. Part 1, second stanza. The past. Okay, stanza 1, he speaks about the present. Stanza 2, he speaks about stanza 1, he speaks about the present. Stanza 2, he speaks about the past. Okay, the past, the dark, unfathomed retrospect, the teeming gulf, the sleepers and the shadows, the past, the infinite greatness of the past. For what is the present after all but a growth out of the past? As a projectile formed, impel, passing a certain line, still keeps on. So the present, utterly formed, impelled by the past. Okay, so Whitman tells the fact that the present is of course glorious, but the glory and the development of the present, the material development of the present is impelled by, look at the last line, impelled by the past. All the present development, progress, glory is possible just because of the past. Let us not just undermine or just forget the past. The past, the dark, unfathomed retrospect. What is the past? The past is dark. It is people in modern world, the present times, do not know about the past. It is just maybe enshrouded in the previous years and centuries, right? The past, the dark, unfathomed. Nobody has measured the greatness of the past. Unfathomed retrospect. Okay, so the let us just contemplate the past. No one has contemplated, no contemplation. Retrospect is contemplation. Okay, no proper contemplation of the past has taken place. Okay, and now that there hasn't been a retrospect or contemplation of the past, nobody knows the depth of the past. The past is of course very deep. And where do you have the past? In the East, in Asia. So the merit, the glory, the spiritual richness of the past, the Asiatic countries, is unfathomed. It is not measured. And let us, oh my soul, okay, my body, I am requesting you, my soul, to go to East, to go to India, to go to Asia, to fathom, to contemplate the depth of the past, to understand, to have a kind of spiritual nourishment and enriching ourselves with spirituality. Okay, and he is just asking for modern world or modern man to have a spiritual unity. All right, now I need to talk to you a little more about the last lines in part 1. Okay, look at that. The past, the dark, unfathomed retrospect. The past, the East, the Asiatic countries, all the contribution, spirituality has not been contemplated. Nobody knows the depth of the Asian countries and the East. The teeming gulf, the sleepers and the shadows. Okay, so when we look at the past, when we think of the past, there is a teeming gulf. Okay, the sleepers and the shadows, right? So there is a teeming gulf. Teeming means in fact a bounding. There is a great gulf, right? The sleepers and the shadows, right? So just like the sleepers and the shadows, right, there is a great gulf or gap between the present and the past. Okay, nobody knows, the present doesn't know the depth of the past. There is a great gulf, a bounding gulf, right, a big gulf between the present and the past. Okay, the teeming gulf, the sleepers and the shadows, just like maybe people who sleep, like let just like the shadows, right? Nobody knows the value of the past, nobody knows the glory of the past, the merit of the past. And now the past, the infinite greatness of the past. Okay, so there is a great abounding rift or gulf or between gap between the present and the past, and the past, the infinite greatness of the past. Okay, so in fact the spiritual achievements and attainments of the past is really very great. The infinite greatness, it is infinite, unending, limitless. So let us understand the infinite, unending, okay, unending greatness of the past. That is, let us understand the spiritual attainments of the past. How can you understand the achievements, the spiritual achievements of the past? Go to the East, go to India, go to Asiatic countries. Now, for what is the present after all but a growth out of the past? What America has achieved today, what Europe has achieved today, okay, the railroad, the laying of the cable, transatlantic cable, and the opening of the Suez Canal, all this is just the growth out of the past. Okay, so let us not forget the past. Right, this is all that the present has, all that we have achieved is the result of what the past, what happened in the past. As a projectile formed, you know what a projectile is. What's a projectile? A projectile is in fact something that is just fired from, like a projectile. What's a projectile? A projectile is an object fired from a gun with an explosive propelling charge, such as a bullet. Just like, okay, the bullet goes, you fire and the bullet is going very fast, and it's hitting the target. Like, yeah, the bullet hitting the target, and the bullet hitting the target is the present. So just like that. So what, as a projectile formed, impelled. What do you mean by impel? To drive forward. Okay, a passing certain line still keeps on. So just like the present is something like that is just let forth, just thrown out, or rather it is something like something that is just driven forward. The present is something that is driven forward, just like a bullet just passing through the air. Okay, and what is driving the present forward? The past is driving the present forward. So the past is very, very glorious. Okay, as a projectile form, just like an object that is fired, just like that, an object that is driven forward, the past has driven the present forward. The present is the result of the past. Simple and easy. And now, let us not forget. Let us go to the past. As a projectile formed, impel, passing a certain line. Okay, like a bullet just going beyond 100 meters or 200 meters or 500 meters, maybe a kilometer, like the present, all the developments of the present is, and is driven forward. It's the result of the past. So the present utterly formed, impelled by the past. So first stanza, the poet Whitman substantiates the fact that all the present material advancement is yeah, I'm using his own word, impelled by, driven forward by, is resulted by the past. And now it is possible for us to have a passage to a journey to, of course, the past, which is represented by Asia and the East. Let us go. Okay, oh my soul, please let us go. Okay, Whitman is asking his soul to make passage to India. That is, let there be a spiritual unification of man. Now we have material unification. This is not enough. We also need a spiritual unification. And for that, it doesn't mean the kind of physical journey alone. Okay, it doesn't mean that all Americans and Europeans have to come to Asia. It doesn't mean that all the Americans should, of course, board on a train or a ship and just come there. No, it means understand the religions, understand the holy books, understand spirituality, and ensure that you, your soul, and the oversoul, that is Paramatma, that is God, always remain together. For that, be religious, have some spirituality. That is it. Okay, so now I think section 1 of the poem Passage to India is clear. Okay, now we move on to second stanza, or part 2 of, not second stanza, second part of the poem Passage to India. All right, part 1 over, we move on to part 2. I will recite part 2, afterwards we will explain. Okay, it's slightly longer. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 stanzas in part 2. Please listen carefully. I will just recite part 2. Thereafter we'll have an explanation of this section. Okay. Passage of soul to India. Eclaircise the myths Asiatic, the primitive fables, not you alone, proud truths of the world, nor you alone, ye facts of modern science, but myths and fables of old Asia's, Africa's fables, the far darting beams of the spirit, the unloosed dreams, the deep diving Bibles and legends, the daring plots of the poets, the elder religions. O you temples fairer than lilies poured over by the rising sun. O you fables spurning the known, eluding the hold of the known, mounting to heaven. You lofty and dazzling towers, pinnacle red as roses, burnished with gold, towers of fables, immortal fashion from mortal dreams. You too I welcome and fully the same as the rest. You too with joy I sing. Passage to India. Lo, soul, seest thou not God's purpose from the first? The earth to be spanned, connected by network, the races, neighbors to marry and be given in marriage, the oceans to be crossed, the distant brought near, lands to be welded together. A worship new I sing. You captains, voyagers, explorers, yours You engineers, you architects, mechanists, yours, you not for trade or transportation only, but in God's name and for thy sake, O soul. Okay, so the second part, the poet is continuing his request. The poet is again pleading his soul to get ready for the passage, get ready for the journey, and of course, the poet is again singing about the past, the Asiatic countries, all the religions, and he also sings a new religion which will combine the scientific achievements of the present and of course the spiritual achievements of the past. So he says that, okay, we need, oh my soul, let us have a new religion. Okay, let us have a new religion for the present world, and this new religion is possible because we have the present achievements of the present, and of course, so with the achievements of the present, that is of course, let us have a new religion which is a confluence of, which is in fact a combination of the scientific achievements of the present and of course the spiritual attainments of the past. So now remember, Walt Whitman is asking himself and his contemporaries to think of making a new religion, and this new religion is in fact an offshoot of or a result of the combination of scientific advancements and spiritual attainments, scientific advancements of the present and of course the spiritual attainments of the past. So with this new religion, which is in fact the result of the scientific advancements of the present and the spiritual attainments of the past, we can have a maybe overwrite a kind of new world. We can have a unification of the modern world, like we can have a spiritual unity of mankind. So we need a new religion, and that new religion should unify mankind all over the world in all the 7 continents. Okay, so he's just asking modern man to have a new religion, a religion which is resulting from scientific advancements and of course spiritual attainments. All right, now let us look at the second section, passage of soul to India. All right, okay, oh my soul, let's go to India. Why do we go to India? Passage of soul to India. Eclaircise the myths Asiatic. What do you mean by eclaircise? Eclaircise means to clarify, to make clear, to clear up. Okay, so make whatever is obscure must be clarified. So to eclaircise the myths Asiatic. Okay, so there are a lot of Asiatic myths, and all the Asiatic myths and the very a lot of myths. Okay, a lot of religions, a lot of fables, a lot of poetry, a lot of stories, a lot of anecdotes. So all these Asiatic myths and mythologies must be just eclaircized. That is, of course, clarify. Okay. Oh, a passage of soul to India. Eclaircize the myths Asiatic. Now, oh my soul, let us go to India. Let us go to East. And when we go to India, when we go to East, we will be able to clarify the Asiatic myths and mythology. We'll be able to understand the religions of Asia, the holy books of Asia, the Vedas and Upanishads. Okay, so passage of soul to India. eclaircise the myths Asiatic. Okay, eclaircise means to clarify. Myths Asiatic, the myths of Asia. The primitive fables. You know what a fable is? A fable, right? You have a lot of stories, a lot of fables in the Puranas, in the epics of Asia, Mahabharata. All right, we have also Vedas and Puranas and Upanishads, right? So all these primitive old fables and myths must be clarified. Okay, so let all the people of United States of America and Europe, okay, West, let the people of Europe, let the people of West go to the East and let them have a spiritual idea. Let them just understand and accept the spirituality or spiritual attainments of the past, that is the East. Not you alone, proud truths of the world. Not you alone, proud truths of the world. The poet is addressing the present. Okay, okay, not you alone, that is the West alone. The West alone is not the truths of the world. Scientific advancements are not the truths, are not the only truths of the world. Not you alone. Okay, the truths of the world, like the invention of course engine, the invention of course the railroad, invention of train traffic, and of course communication. Okay, similarly we have the opening of Suez Canal. We have all the achievements of the present, but all this is not the truth. There are greater truths of the old. There are greater truths of the past. So not you alone. You is the West, modern world, scientific achievements. Not you alone, proud truths of the world. All these three of 1869 or the 19th century are not the truths of the world. Not you alone, ye facts of modern science. Suez Canal, railroad, transatlantic cable. All this is not just the facts of the modern world. Okay, but myths and fables of old or eld. Eld means, it's in fact an archaic expression. Eld means old. Okay, but myths and fables of eld. Okay, so old age. Eld means old age, antiquity. So the scientific progress and scientific advancements and achievements are not the only truths of the world, are not only facts of the modern world. There are myths and fables of antiquity. There are myths and fables of the old world Asiatic countries. By myths and fables of old or old Asias. Okay, so my soul, let us go to Asia, let us go to India, and let us learn the fables and myths of Asia. Asia's, Africa's fables. Okay, let us have a unification of entire humanity. Myths and fables of old Asia's, Africa's fables, the far darting beams of the spirit. Okay, let us know about the far darting beams of the spirit. Okay, the old world has, Asia has, Africa has a lot of spiritual achievements and attainments, and let us know about the spiritual achievements and attainments of Asia and Africa, which is embedded in the myths, religions, and fables of Asia and Africa. The far darting beams of the spirit, the unloosed dreams. Okay, the unloosed dreams. So what you have in Asian fables, African fables, Asian religions, African religions, holy books is unloosed dreams, dreams of divinities, dreams of great people who have a lot of great wisdom, spiritual wisdom, unloosed dreams, the deep diving Bibles and legends. Okay, my soul, let's go to the Asiatic countries and let us learn the religions of Asia and Africa. Let's just know about the greater realities and truths in the Bibles and, of course, legends, right? The daring plots of the poets, Asian civilization and Asian literature, Asian religion, Asian fable, Asian mythology is very rich. And oh, my soul, let us go to Asia, the far darting beams of the spirit, the unloosed dreams, the deep diving Bibles and legends, the daring plots of the poets. Okay, Asian literature, whatever Asian poets. We have the Vedas, the of course we have the Mahabharata, we have Ramayana. Then again, we have many fables. All right, so all this is created by the poets. And plotting, you know what a plot is? Plot, plot is, of course, right, like one of the elements of fiction. Plot, right? Plot is the incidents, plot is the story. Okay, the storyline is the plot. So the daring plots of the poets. Great literature we have in Asia, great literature we have in Africa. Let us go there. Let us. And what is all this poetry and literature about? All this poetry and literature is about spirituality. Okay, so the daring plots of the poets, the elder religions, and okay, we also have in Asia and Africa, we have ancient religions. We have Hinduism, we have Jainism, we have Buddhism. Okay, we have most of the world religions in Asia and Africa. Let us go there, oh my soul. The deep diving Bibles and legends, the daring plots of the poets, the elder religions. Elder religions means ancient religions. Oh, you temples fairer than lilies poured over by the rising sun. Beautiful. Look at that. Okay. So now Whitman looks at the very garden plants and flowers of United States of America. And he says that you temples, the temples of Asia, the temples of Africa, you temples, the temples of Asia, the temples of Africa, the temples of India, they are fairer than lily flowers, lilies poured over by the rising sun. Beautiful description of the flowers in the garden in the morning you have there. Okay, look at that. The temples fairer than lilies poured over by the rising sun. Beautiful description of early morning. Early morning, you just look at your garden, you can see beautiful lily flowers just fluttering and dancing in the rising sun's dazzling rays. And the poet says that no, that's not the beauty. Beauty we have in the temples of Asia. We have beauty in the temples and religions of Africa. Okay, we have beauty in, or greater, more beautiful is, or more beautiful are the temples of India, Asia, and Africa. So, my soul, let's go to India, passage to India. The daring plots of the poets, the elder religions. Oh, you temples fairer than lilies poured over by the rising sun. You fables spurning the known. Okay, now we have the fables of Asia, the fables of Africa, and all these mythology, myths, religion, and fables of Asia, they spurn, S-P-U-R-N. What do you mean by spurn? Spurn means reject with scorn. So the fables, religions, and myths and mythology of Asiatic countries is rejecting the present. Okay, when we compare, Whitman says that when we compare the past religions of Asia, the poetry or literature of Asia with the scientific advancements of the present of America or Europe, okay, the past is more glorious and the past is rejecting the present with scorn. You fables spurning the known. The present, the West is being rejected scornfully by the past, the East, eluding the hold of the known. Okay, eluding the hold of the known. What is eluding? The past religions, the past fables, myths and mythologies and religions of Asia and Africa is eluding, avoiding, or escaping the present. Present world, United States of America or Europe cannot understand, decipher, grasp the past. The past is so deep, so full of meaning, so glorious, so beautiful, so profound that it is eluding the hold of the known. Science cannot explain spirituality. The West cannot explain the East. Okay, so eluding the hold of the known, mounting to heaven, and all the myths, mythologies, and the religions of the past of the East is mounting to heaven, because what the East has given is profound religious or spiritual ideas. Okay, so it is mounting to its greater reality. The Eastern countries and the Indian and Asiatic African countries, okay, what they have given is just spiritual conviction and idea which is mounting to heaven. You lofty and dazzling towers, pinnacle red as roses, burnished with gold. And come to Asia, come to India, come to Africa, you will see a lot of temples. And all these temples, Hindu temples, Jain temples, Buddhist temples, all these temples, okay, they are lofty and dazzling towers. All the temples, religious centers of the East, of India, of Asia and Africa are lofty, very, very high, very elevated and dazzling, glittering and gleaming and shining, right? Dazzling towers, the temples of Asia and Africa. Pinnacled. Pinnacle means highest. So the tower, the topmost part of these temples, red as roses, and the tower, the highest point of the temples of Asia, Africa, and of course India, all right, are red as roses because they are burnished with gold. What do you mean by burnished? Burnished means polished. Okay, so the temples of Asia, the result of great spirituality, great religion, is burnished with gold, polished with gold. And go to Asia, go to Africa, go to India, know about spiritual attainments, and my soul, let us make a passage to India. Towers of fables, immortal fashion from mortal dreams. And what are these temples? What are these towers? These towers, the temples in Asia, the temples in Africa, the temples in India, they are towers of fables, immortal fashioned. Okay, all these towers are fashioned to be, made to be, created to be immortal. They are going to be immortal. They are going to be permanent. They are not going to just vanish. They will be there all the time because, okay, they are centers of spirituality, and these immortal towers of fables have been created by mortals. Okay, so the temples of Asia, the very high golden towers of the temples of Africa and India, they are the result of the dreams of the great architects and engineers of the East, of Asia and Africa. Towers of fables, immortal fashion from mortal dreams. You too, I welcome fully the same as the rest. Okay, so you too I welcome and fully the same as the rest. You too with joy I sing. Okay, oh my soul, let us just sing about the past as well. Let us not just sing about the Suez Canal. Let us not just sing only about the Atlantic cable or the Trans-American Railroad. Let us sing about the glory of the past, the religions and the temples of you too I welcome and fully the same as the rest. Okay, I welcome all the temples and towers of the past, the East, the Asia, the Africa, and you too I sing with joy. You too with joy I sing. Okay, so Whitman says that he is quite happy about the greatness of the present, so too the greatness of the past. And the past is famous for spiritual attainments, religion, fables, myths, temples. All right. Now we come to the next stanza in part 2. Pass it to India. Oh, my soul, let's go to India. Pass it to India. Low soul. Low soul. What does it mean? Low means look. Pass it to India. Look, soul. Look, my soul. Seest thou not God's purpose from the first? Okay. Look here, my dear soul. Look here, my soul. Don't you see a plan of God in all this? Whitman says that all this is the design of God. All this has been predestined by God. Okay, so whatever you have in Asia and Africa, and whatever we have in the present in America and Europe, all the scientific and material achievement of the present and all the spiritual attainment of the Asian countries of the past is designed by God. This is the plan of God. God planned all this. Look, soul. Oh, my soul, please understand. Seest thou not God's purpose from the first? God had a purpose from the very beginning. From day one of creation, God had a purpose and God designed it. The earth to be spanned. It was decided by God that one day man would go around the globe, the earth. The earth to be spanned. What does it mean? Okay, that is the encircling of the earth. All right. So that was the plan of God. God knew that one day his son and daughter, mankind, will span, go around the earth to be spanned, the earth to be encircled. It was the plan of God. The earth to be spanned, connected by network. Okay, and again God knew that one day the earth is going to be connected by network, transport, connected by, of course, telephonic communication, connected by the internet. God knew all that. Remember, Whitman is writing all this at a time when there was no internet. Okay, so Whitman says that all this was the design of God. The earth is to be spanned, connected by network, the races, neighbors to marry and be given in marriage. So this was the plan of God. Okay, years ago, people in Kerala, all right, people in a locality married, okay, within that locality. But now you hear about Indians marrying Americans, Indians getting married to Japanese. Okay, maybe Indians marry, or like Pakistani people marrying people in Nigeria, or maybe Americans marrying somebody in Africa. So all that is possible, and God planned it. God knew that the races, neighbors to marry and be given in marriage. This was the plan of God. And all this is possible just because of telecommunication, just because of transport. And that was the plan of God. The races, neighbors to marry and be given in marriage, the oceans to be crossed, the distant brought near. And now with ships, with the opening of Suez Canal, with transport, all this is possible. The oceans to be crossed, the distant brought near, the lands to be welded together. All the seven continents, all the countries in the seven continents is connected, and it is lands to be welded together. This is the purpose of God from the beginning. Okay, and now I'm just singing about all this, the present and the past. A worship new I sing. And Whitman reminds himself, reminds each and every one in the world, reminds the readers, I am speaking about a new religion. A worship new I sing. What do you mean by worship? Worship means religion. A worship new I sing. I sing about a new religion. A worship new I sing. I am singing about a new religion, which is that new religion? This new religion Whitman is singing about is a new religion that combine scientific achievements and spiritual achievements. Scientific achievements of the West, Europe and America, and spiritual attainments of the East, Asia and India. Okay, so let's have a new worship. Let's have a new religion. Therefore, oh my soul, let's go to India. Okay, a worship new I sing, you captains, captains. What do you mean by captains? Captains means the captains of the ships. Okay, the captains of the ships, the captains of course, national and international leaders. It include Christopher Columbus, Amerigo Vespucci, Vasco da Gama. Okay, all these people, captains. All those people just went in search of new lands, geographical discoveries. Remember, geographical discoveries, right? You captains, voyages, same voyages, people who travel, explorers. Okay, explorers, people go in search of maybe something that is unknown or not found. Explorers, yours. Okay, yours. You captains, voyagers, explorers, yours. I am singing about a new religion. You captains, voyagers, explorers, yours. You engineers, you architects, mechanists, yours. Yeah? I'm speaking about a new religion of you people. All right, let's have a new religion of all these people, captains, voyagers, explorers, mechanists, machine, like industrial revolution we have, right? Architects, engineers, right? Okay, you not for trade or transportation only. Okay, I am just singing about you, and I am singing about a new religion, and I don't want this new religion just for trade and transportation only, but in God's name. Okay, let us just, I'm just asking all of you to work together for maybe spiritual nourishment. And maybe when you work together, we can have a new religion, and that religion will be a confluence or a combination of the scientific advancements and the spiritual attainments, and that religion will unify modern man. And we need a spiritual unity of entire humanity and entire nations of the world. So I am just singing about that religion. So you people, you captains, voyagers, explorers, engineers, architects, mechanics, please contribute to this new religion. You engineers, you architects, mechanics, yours, you not for trade or transportation only. This new religion resulting from spirituality and science is not for transportation. In God's name and for thy sake, O soul. Okay, so this new religion, let's have this new religion, And in order to have this new religion, oh my soul, let us go to India. Let's make a pilgrimage to India. Okay, so that is the end of section 2 of the great poem Passage to India. And as I said some time ago, in this section of Passage to India, the poet is asking the present, like the intellectuals, the scientists, the architects and engineers to make a new religion, which will, of course, be a combination of scientific achievements and spiritual achievements. And with this new religion, maybe a unification of a spiritual unification of mankind is possible. So with that, we end this live streaming session. Okay, next live streaming session, we will move to the third section of the Passage to India, the poem of Walt Whitman. Thanks a lot for listening. I'll be just informing you when I'm meeting you again in the channel for the discussion of the subsequent sections of the poem. May God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening, and bye-bye.